into politics, but to sort of casual observers said they thought it was a little bit too much.
It was ugly. It was dirty. I mean, there were dirty jokes, or not jokes, really, just dirty statements by Donald Trump. And it was really cutthroat. I mean, on the one hand, Kasich staying out of it probably helped him a little bit, certainly not enough. And they really, they really went after Donald Trump. I think Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio were effective in certain regards. I think the person who hurt Donald Trump the most, probably not going to change the race in any sort of way, was Donald Trump. I thought he had, again, that vulgar moment at the beginning of the debate was bad for him. And I thought later on, when he softened his position on immigration, I thought that really raised flags about how serious and committed he is to his own policy ideas going forward.
Caitlin, what did you make of it? Were you? How did you come away from it?
I agree. I think it looked like a bad night for the Republican Party. You have the top tier of candidates just really going after each other. They have for several days now, but this was kind of, at the climax of this election right now. And I just think it with all of these candidates trying to now go to a contested convention. You have Marco Rubio, John Kasich, Ted Cruz vying to stay in at least through March 15th. Rubio has made a contested convention now part of his strategy. I think that just sets the party up for...
Well, even Kasich is thinking that if he wins Ohio, somehow they'll elevate him at a broker convention because he is the so-called adult in the room. Listen, do you think the needle was moved at all, Steve? I know you're a Donald Trump guy, but some people say, listen, Megyn Kelly hit him pretty hard. There were some other things out there that positions that were changed during the debate, immediately after the debate, those kind of things. They haven't stuck before. Do you think it matters now?
Charles, the Fox News commentators there were very fair. They did a good job. But let's remember this, that Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz had no intention of talking about America and policy. Their intentions last night was to try to bring Donald Trump down.
Well, wasn't that their job?
And well, you know what? Their job is, yes, to be effective, but let's start talking about America. They weren't talking about America, but to your point about the dent was the other way. I believe after this debate and after what I heard today is that they helped Donald Trump's cause and strengthen his core group. And hopefully it's going to turn out that way through the primary races we see in the next few days.
Beyond his core group, though, you think? Because I thought Ted Cruz was particularly effective. And you look at some of the Google searches and spikes and those kind of things. I'm not sure Rubio. I think he's gotten drawn into this sort of fight that he's out of his element in. And the more he fights, it looks like he's flailing.
But they've had what they did was, in some degree, you talk about the outside core group. They had people feel sorry for Donald Trump. I mean, he just got pounded and pounded and pounded. And yet, I give the guy a lot of credit. He stood strong. He said what he had to say, and he came out of it okay.
I think the reason that these attacks might not be effective, or because they should have happened months ago. The party it's still fractured. There are still so many candidates running. If they had launched these attacks several months ago, maybe they would have made some kind of a dent.
All right, guys. Well, obviously, Donald Trump took a lot of incoming from his rivals, but there are some out there saying that the moderators are out to get him as well. Take a listen.
And they don't bid. They don't go out to bid.
Trump?
Take a look. Excuse me. You're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars.
No, you're not.
If we went out to the proper bid. Of course you are.
No, you're not, sir. Let's put up full screen number 2.
Saving through negotiation throughout the economy, you'll save $300 billion a year.
Deficit.
And that's a huge, of course it is. We're going to buy things for less money. Of course it is.
Now, of course, you remember that exchange that came after Chris Wallace challenged Donald Trump on the numbers not necessarily adding up. Daniel, I was live tweeting during the whole time, and of course, the Trump folks really upset with that. Although I got to tell you, I don't know who came up with the idea, knew that was going to be the answer. They had the math ready. But do you feel like, in some respects, the moderators were unfair to Donald Trump last night?
I don't think so at all. He's the front runner. I've always believed that, politicians, especially when you're running for president, you should be able to answer tough questions. Donald Trump, you can judge him by his answers. He answered some better than others. The questions I thought were very fair, and I thought they were tough, and I think that's good. You want somebody who can withstand tough questioning. If he's going to be commander in chief, he should at least be able to answer a couple questions.
Last night in his interview with Bill O'Reilly, he thought he was treated fairly. I mean, they were tough questions, but he had pretty good answers.
Well, when they showed the full screen of one of the complainants in the Trump University thing, you thought that was okay? You were cool with that?
Yeah, because you know what? It gave him the opportunity, the best he could, to explain with a little bit about time he had. But I think he handled himself well.
I also think in the last Fox debate that Trump skipped, they did that kind of thing for the other candidates. They showed them clips of previous statements and asked them to explain their reversal or change of tone.
Right.
I think it was more than fair, and I think it was much needed. I think they should have done that earlier.
I mean, I think it was someone must have got a shout out at the morning meeting because knowing that some of these answers would come up and having the math ready for him already. But again, do you think, Daniel, though, that it strengthened his core followers to Steve's point, who might have felt sorry for him, saying, hey, this is too much, these guys are piling on? And if so, did it help beyond the core followers?
I disagree. I don't think Donald Trump's attraction is that you feel sorry for him and therefore you want to vote for him. Donald Trump is an alpha male. He's a strong man. That's his attraction, not if he's getting pummeled and getting scared and people feeling sorry for him. So I'm not sure it helped him. Again, like I said at the beginning, it didn't hurt him. He's not going to lose the election because of this by any stretch of the imagination. But he wasn't helped.
Well,
Absolutely.
The 90-year-old woman I talked to this morning that was undecided said, that poor man, Donald Trump, they shouldn't have done that to him. I'm voting for him.
No,
well, maybe you found the one person in America.
Well, there's multiplied by millions, believe me.
All right, guys, let's leave it there.
We'll find out.
We had a lot of breaking news today and a lot from